Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Jade, and this is The Rant. And today, I'm going to be asking, are you okay? Let's rant. Hello, welcome to the show. My name is Jade, and this is The Rant, and it's Monday morning here in Australia. Bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, 7, 8 a.m., something like that. Who knows? That's going to change soon because, grab your ankles, folks, daylight savings is about to happen here in Australia in a couple of weeks' time. And that means clocks change here and clocks change on this show, and it's going to be that time of the year where clocks change over the 4 weeks and it all gets chaotic for me and you and everything that we do. Everybody doing okay? That's the topic of today's channel. What a big weekend it has been, and wow, I barely was able to get out of bed today, but here we are. And yes, we're at the Rant. Let's say hello to you all, bang in some greets and stuff. Hugh Caldwell, hello. Wasn't that a fun show last night? Comedy. Don't try it with amateurs. Anyway, Thomas Christ, hello. Semtex Cow, hello. Mark Bro, hello. There, hello, can you go? Ali, hello. Deep Gravity, what's going on? There's my friend Deep Gravity. Long time no see, Cam. Ed Beard Medal. And Thomas slinging links as usual. If you want to do all these things that feel like you can, that's nice of you to ask, Ed B. Metal. I hope everybody is doing okay because I got my ear to the ground and I hear little rumours that people aren't. And it may just be a white lie. Mr. Smith, hello to you. David Live to Fly, good to see you. Nice to see you. Have I got most people? I'm scrolling. Jeez, my eyesight's terrible, and I have these Coke bottle glasses, and I still can't see for shit. Man, does anybody else love the decline of eyesight? You know, these are the first glasses I ever bought, real glasses, you know, not the $2 cheapies that you get. Hello, Audible Video. And they cost me $400, and it already feels like they're out of date, and I've only owned them for a year. What? Is this what it's going to be like forever? Digital Drew, hello to you. Look, before we get into it, I've got some housekeeping stuff to cover. I want to tell you what's going on here on the channel for the week. So before we get all, serious and stuff. So let's do that. So this week I'm continuing on working. Hello, Lux. Continuing on working on my, song timbre song. But then I'm going to take a break and start working on another Songtember song. So tomorrow we're going to be doing this. Got to do a little bit more work on my jazz song, as you can see by the jazz club background for the thumbnail. So we'll be working on this tomorrow. And then once this episode's done right here, I'll be sending this off to my friend Viv Sparrow. So she has a week with the song or a little bit longer to try and figure out what to do to make it sexy, which I'm sure she'll be able to do. But then I'm kicking off episode 6 with something else. Yes. Now I know you're seeing cats and dogs on the screen. You may be licking your lips and thinking, I'm hungry. I'm thinking of eating those cats and dogs because the world's very strange at the moment. So if you are thinking that, please refrain. They are pets after all. But this song will be about the revenge of the pets. I'm going to write a song, a death metal song, and I'm going to ask you to send me your audio tracks of your cats and dogs meowing and barking, and I will add them to the song as the vocals, as death metal vocals. So it will be the revenge of the cats and dogs. That will be my second Songtember song, so we'll be doing this not tomorrow, the day after. And if because I'm expecting it's not going to take too long to write this song, but the next day we'll continue, and I love this thumbnail. Look at that. Look at that thumbnail. Look, I hate AI, but for some things, AI just is so good. Oh, God. Anyway, so we've got 2 episodes this week working on the death metal cats and dogs song. So that should be fun. Something a bit silly to take our minds off all the seriousness around Songtember, because, man, it's a big thing for a lot of people, this Songtember thing. I know it comes around every year on the channel. And I think, oh, cool, Songtember, everyone's going to write songs and we've got to get it in by, and then Songtember starts and you're like, oh, shit, Songtember. Oh, I've got to get this song done in a month. Oh, no, and it's got to be ready, and I've got to keep doing all the normal things like, So I understand that Songtember's not always the bag of farts and sprinkles that it's out to be, you know what I mean? But it is, that's the thing, that's what we're going to talk about today. It is meant to be fun and not a pressure cooker. But we are closing out this week's shows with an interview with somebody I know who has a YouTube channel, very popular YouTube channel by the name of Rachel's Ghost. And she is beautifully complex. She is from a community called the Vinyl Community, where she collects albums and yeah, it's going to be a wild ride. It's going to be a fun ride because she's very interesting. I'm sure you're going to have a good time. And this is our interview for this week. Something a little bit different, yeah. And she is trans like myself, so buckle yourselves up, folks. Boom. So that is what's going on. Now, I had, so what spurred this today? Well, obviously some of my own personal stuff that's been going on, and thank you all for being here. So now I've been doing this show, or this channel, as like this medium, doing music and tutorials and all this kind of stuff for a bit over 4 years now. And let me tell you, it's been it's been one of these. Hasn't all been smooth sailing. Not that you'd get to see a lot of it, because I try and be as transparent as I possibly can here on this channel and give you every kind of stupid thought that's going through my head. Speaking of, hello, Brad Example, and hello, Wolfstone Studio. Have I missed Semtex Cow? Did I get you, buddy? Hello. So I do try and be as transparent as possible here on this channel and give you as much as I can about what's going on in here. When I'm up, when I'm down, I find it very hard to hide that stuff. I'm just a very outward thinking human being. I always have been very expressive, very emotional. I just can't help it. It is who I am, and I am what I is. And I don't know, I find it hard to shield that kind of stuff when that's all I know. But obviously there are things that we do want to keep off YouTube and have some kind of privacy, have some kind of thing, like I'm not going to tell you what what I do in the bedroom, or maybe I will. I don't know. I don't know how this brain works. It's very complex, and it's full of these weird things called emotions. And sometimes they get so crippling, I don't know what to say or what to do, or even if I should leave the bed. Can anybody else testify? Testify. Right? So maybe I will. But I do like to have this little... I think if you're doing this kind of content, you need to still have some stuff over here that you can go back to and cuddle and go, I don't want to go on the internet anymore, don't I? Oh, it's too much. So you need to have some comfort things and things that like you don't share with people. And sometimes, from my personal experience, it is some of the mental stuff that is going on. Unfortunately and fortunately, I have a wonderful group of friends that I hang out with every day, which I think is a necessity. An absolute freaking necessity to have this many friends. If you got this many, you're really lucky. Let me tell you that, because friends, whew, man, they're getting harder and harder to find. Because somehow does anybody remember this? When you used to, every 4 years, go to a polling booth and tick a few boxes in privacy, and put your little piece of paper in the polling booth, and then you'd go, and then you'd never mention that shit ever again. Remember that shit? Remember? Because you didn't want to think about it. You go in there, tick all the boxes, go, oh, who do I hate the most? I'll put them last, and I'll put oh God, they're all liars. Tush. Now I'm leaving, and I never want to talk about this for the next 4 years, and then in 4 years' time I'll come back and do it. But guess what? It's not like that anymore, is it? Because every fucking day you open the internet and there's political crap. And it's just, oh man, it just dogpiles on your brain and just really, really. It's so bad that this is what I say about friends. This is getting back to my point. To have this many friends is awesome because these days you lose friends just for sneezing the wrong way. Oh, what did you say? I never knew you were like that. I've known you for 20 years and you said one word and I'm leaving you. Oh, you voted this way. I'm leaving you. Fuck off. So we have a lot to contend with, don't we, with friends. But getting back to that, I have really good friends. I have a handful of friends that I hang out with every single day, and most of them are here. Brad and Leela and Ali and Russ and Audible Video. We all hang out every day and we chat to each other. And sometimes Ron and Jenny, and we have some drifters who come in and out. But we chat every day and we know exactly how each other are feeling. And it's a great support network because if in those instances when you feel like dog shit, you've got somebody immediately just to open a little room and hear their voice and go, I'm so angry, man. I want to punch holes through walls, or I just want to curl up in a ball and be a hedgehog and just everybody leave me alone. I have no capacity to like converse with humans today. So I think it's very important to have those kind of people in your life. And if you don't, maybe organize some kind of group where you can do that. Some little space with some people outside of chats on YouTube channels. Because, you know, we all know what goes on in chats on YouTube channel. Hello. 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 All the next show's on. Hello. Hello. Didn't I say hello to you an hour ago? Hello. All right, another show starting in an hour's time. Hello, hello, hello. God damn. So you can't really say anything in chats, can you? Because, you know, we try and keep it positive and a bit of fun in the chats. And so if you like get too deep on the hello gauntlet and say like, hey, everybody, I'm feeling a bit down and like, I don't know, I'm thinking about tying myself to this boulder here and throwing myself off a bridge. It kind of ruins the mood of the show, doesn't it? Because somebody's up there like busting their ass entertaining you and giving you all their guts and you're like, oh. So my first piece of advice is find a good network of people that you can just unload on, just like, you know, blah, blah, get it all out. I missed somebody else. Eddie's Physical Media, hello to you. Liz a day, there's my Liz a day. What's going on, Liz? Good to see you. Just voted, got the sausage sanger. See, that's what we do here in Australia. In America, they go to the polls and they vote and totally in fear of what their next door neighbour is going to think or their kids or whatever. And then you get given a little sticker. You have to wear a little sticker around. In Australia, we don't do that. We give you a piece of bread with the sausage and some onion and a bit of tomato sauce, otherwise kind of known as ketchup. And we say, good, well done. Thanks for voting. Hopefully this doesn't affect your life too much. You don't lose any friends over it. And who you vote for isn't a cunt. Oop, I forgot to hit the button. And we'll see you in 4 years for another sausage. How's that? And you go, thanks very much. Can you make it vegan next year? I've decided to cut meat out. Not a problem. Oh, vegan options. Wow. I don't feel so isolated. Yeah, I want to vote sausage now. When's the next vote? Off you trot. Off you pop it. There you go. Goodbye. So, friends, it's good to have a selection of friends. And you know what? With my friends, I've almost burnt some bridges with my friends. I've yelled at I yelled at Audible Video the other day. I told him I got upset with him. And we were in a clubhouse chat, And I did. I yelled at him and I told him he was too sensitive and he got too upset about politics. And I did yell at him. And but you know what? The next day when we caught up with each other, he knows where I'm coming from, and, and if I do go too far, I will apologise, because you got to look after your friends. Friends are very important, and not just the friends that you say hello to. They're good and stuff, but so that's my first thing. Now, one of the reasons I wanted to talk about this today is that over the last few weeks, I've been going through this a number of things like imposter syndrome and just almost like a mini depression, and then like looking at the things I have to do for the channel and going, but I don't want to. Like, the joy's not there at the moment. So I think I'll just lay in bed and just not do it. I'll just avoid it. And then the next day comes around and I go, you know what? I'll do that today, and I'll set a timer and I'll do that. And then the timer goes off and I go, you know what, maybe tomorrow. And then it all just keeps building up because I'm not feeling it. I'm feeling overwhelmed and I don't want to do anything. I don't feel like I'm good enough. And I feel like my tutorials suck. And inside the back of my head, I know that they don't. I can't. And I'm sure you all know this. You've been doing something for a while. You're actually okay at it. It's not like everything you do turns out to be a shit finger painting with somebody else's shit. It's not like that. But for some reason, you fall into this little hole for a little bit, and you feel like, man. And it's really hard to get out of it, isn't it? It's really hard to get out of it. But you know what? The good thing is that you do. Like, that's the thing. And when you're in that moment, it's hard to draw on that because, well, you not only do you not do the thing that you keep putting off because you feel like you're not good about it, you keep adding more things now that you have to do because this thing's not going away. It's going to have to be done, isn't it? It's going to have to be done. So it piles up higher and higher, and then the new concern comes in, which is, oh no, how am I going to get all this stuff done? Oh no. And then that worry lies on top, and then the continued blankets and waves of more shit. And then you think about it every single place you go to. You can't escape it, can you? You can try to escape. I tried to go for walks to escape from it, but it was so quiet out where I was walking. Well, guess what happened? My little head filled up with all those problems again. And not the sweet birds that were singing their natural melody that was supposed to soothe my soul. No, the birds were taunting me now, and the thoughts continued to further and further, and the magpie and crowing away started laughing, and it was like, fuck, I wanted to be a bird, actually. So here's the news. I'm having a bird transplant. I'm going to have all my skin removed, and I'm going to be transformed into a majestic bird. And that's the answer to life. So if you're having problems, all right, and that's the end of the show. See you later. No, that's not it. That was another, I think that's another dimension. And I got lost there. All right, so we're back. Feather implants for the win. Absolutely. Let's do feather implants. If we all just get feather implants, everything's going to be fine. But no, this shit's real. And I'm kind of lucky because I do talk about this stuff here on the channel. This isn't the first time I've been talking about this. I did mention it on one of my shows. Was it last week? I said, hey, I'm trying to get through this stuff on YouTube, trying to get these songs done, and I'm having this drama. And you know what? The thing is, I think it's happened to me. I can only speak from my experience. See, I can't speak for any of you because I'm not inside your complicated heads, right? And God forbid that. Yeah. And I don't wish any of you to be inside of my complicated head dealing with the feathers and all of that stuff that's clearly going on. But here's the thing. I know, like, in the back of my mind, I know that these things are going to be okay. Like they do work themselves out, right? And the thing is, every time that they kind of do, and you get back on the bike and go, let's just do this thing, then it just happens, doesn't it? And you go, oh, well, why did I? What was I doing? Why did I let that go so much? Why did I build up this fanciful world of I can't do this? Because I just did it, and I don't know, I think I actually enjoyed it. Ever get so used to feeling in the dumps that when you start to crawl out of it, you subconsciously want to fall back in? Absolutely. This is the thing. It's that, I'll set a time to get out. I'll do it at 4 o'clock. I'll do it at 4 o'clock. I'll finally crawl out of the dumps at 4 o'clock. I think 4 o'clock's a good time. In fact, I'll grab my phone because I've got technology now, and I can say, hey, set a reminder for 4 o'clock for me to get my life back. And you go, all right, cool, I'll have a sleep until then. And then the alarm goes off 20 minutes before 4, and you go, you know what? I don't think I'm ready to regain my sensibilities and my life back and my confidence. I think I'll just push snooze on the confidence time frame. Come on, you've all done it, yeah? You've done it. I did it about fucking 20 times last week, probably more. Frank Terzo, hello. I'd swear I did that so many times in the last 2 weeks, pressing snooze on the get back on the horse alarm clock, and it wasn't working. Nothing worked, and I don't know. I can't even. Here's the thing: I can't even tell you what. I've got no answers. I don't even know what it was that got me over it. I'll be honest. There was this app, right, which I reviewed last week. This EQ app called Tone Boosters EQ Pro, and for some reason that. And it's always something different. It was this one app, which I've been working with EQ apps. Fuck, they're the easiest apps to do a tutorial of. But for some reason, this one had just become this roadblock for me. And every time I thought about doing it, I was like, oh, fuck, I'm going to have to set up all these multiple projects and have to show it in this way and this way. Oh, fucking... What about if I just set the life alarm to do it later? And that's what it was. I couldn't get over that. Everything else I was able to get up and do each day and eat and do all that stuff. But that one thing, I had created this whole imposter syndrome of like, I'm not good enough. I can't do it. I can't do this thing. I can't do it. I can't. And I just kept telling myself. My brain kept telling me silently or however it works. I don't know. I'm not a fucking doctor, you know. So, but then I just did it and went, fuck, that wasn't too hard, was it? And then you're back on the train again. So again, my personal experience, this is how it works, ups and downs, ebbs and flows. The thing is, it's our minds are like roller coasters, aren't they? This up and down, up and down. The real trick, I was told this once before by somebody I was in a sexual relationship with and intimate mental relationship with. I don't know why I told you both of those things. You didn't need to know the first bit, but just imagine it, right? Let me turn out the light so you can imagine it. Oh, yes, 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 yes. There you go. So now you can imagine that bit, but a mental, intimate relationship as well. They told me the secret of life, right, because life is like this, if you can bring it to this. You know, like this. Remember that? Rap dancing? Remember that? Does anybody remember rap dancing? I know, a thing of the past. It's been ruined by Australia, break dancing, hasn't it? Oh, I love getting sidetracked. But it is. The secret is to get these waves because you're never going to get a flat. Right? When you get a flat, you're dead. That's my opinion. And you can sue me if you don't like it. But if things are going like this, oh, there's something big coming. There's icebergs if it's going very smooth like that, there's trouble. So be wary of that stuff when things are going too good. Yes. Why am I just saying this and setting up paranoia in people? My life's going so good. And you know what? It's so weird. Sometimes when you verbalize stuff and you just come out and go, everything's wonderful, everything's grand, everything's wonderful, because that's how I act when I walk down the street all the time. That is me. It's as soon as you put that out there, you know it's going to happen. Boom. Boom. Everything's going to go wrong, isn't it? So, how much do you put out there for that to happen? A huge shit falls from the sky. Wouldn't that be awesome? Wouldn't that be awesome to have that happen? To just be see somebody walking down the street going, yeah, my life's wonderful, and then a huge crap lands on them. Especially if you're filming it. Great TikTok content, you know what I mean? But we can't explain why this stuff happens. But the key is to try and get the waves to be like this. And how do you do it? Because we're excitable beings, aren't we? We're so excitable when good stuff goes on. We want to sing it from the rooftops and go, yeah, everything's cool. I'm okay. I'm doing okay. Then when it's all bad, it's horrible. It really is horrible. Is everybody here okay? I want to hear if everybody's okay. Now, that's a really weird statement, isn't it? Because I could ask you if you're doing great. Is everybody doing great? Or is it? Let us know on a scale how you're doing. Just one word. Just give us one word. From piss poor all the way up to freaking amazing. Because that word doesn't get overused, does it? Or okay, or fair, or poorly, or indifferent. Give us a word in the chat of how you're feeling currently, all right? I don't need your life story because I'm not. If I got that, I'll be charging for the hour, all right? Fair to middling, surfing, fair to middling, okay-ish, stubbornly okay, hanging in, right? Good, surviving, optimistic. I'm not putting these comments up. I'm not doing a very good job. Confused. I like that. Brad's doing okay. I'd say a 7-ish. Wow. I love these scales. I do love them. Shakespeare said that there was only 2 stories, tragedy and comedy. Tragedy, you die. Comedy, look, I don't agree with that. I think there are grey areas in between, and I think some people don't understand comedy at all. Like last night, for example, what happened on the internet. Okay, fair. It seems to be a consensus that people are okay. And is that okay? I don't know. You tell me. Is okay good enough? Is it good enough? Because I was talking to Pete Johns recently about Songtember because I did some drums for him over the weekend. And on that, before I get into the story, this is a yarn. It's like, touch me. So we're going to have a little yarn here about Pete Johns. But before we do that, I have to pay the bills. So every day here on the channel, we run an ad. Sometimes I forget about it because I'm just brain dead. But we run the ad so everybody gets the ad at the same time. You don't miss any of this riveting content. So we'll do that. You can avoid the ad by becoming a YouTube premium subscriber or just by skipping the ad, and we'll wait for you to come back. So the ad has been runneth. Can I just tell you, while we're waiting for those who may have or may not have got an ad, yesterday on the Patreon, you can become a Patreon if you want, we had an egg and spoon race. See, this is the kind of riveting stuff you miss out on by not being a Patreon. We had an egg and spoon race with all the Patreons. And boy, was it controversial. It's one of the most controversial races I've ever taken part in. And it's just unbelievable antics and hijinks went down. So if you'd like to become a Patreon, you can become a Patreon. For $1, you get to join the fun of Yeah, there you go. All right. Hello, Ian Luckett. Way better than I could ever reasonably expect to be. Well, that's nice. That's good. Last time I was awesome. I was hyper, and it's great for a month, and then you burn out. See, this is the thing too, and this is what I still struggle to deal with, is balance. Yeah, balance is that whole. I'm doing really good now, so contain it. Let's go. Let's just keep smooth. But no, I'm an excess person. Right, I'm well. If that's happening, why don't we just add this on top and more? And I can add this on top, and I can add a little bit. We can add more, and that's my character. I know my flaws, and I just keep adding more, and then I go, oh look, it's teetering, and I'm underneath it all. Yay! Here it comes. Oh, I'm dead. Yay! And now 2 weeks, I'm going to be miserable and fucked up. Because yay. But don't worry, I'll clean all this up eventually and we'll get back to it, and then I'll build it all back up again, won't I? I'll just dogpile everything up there and then all fall down again. We never learn, do we? A Jenga mountain. It is the Jenga mountain of emotional bullshit and things that you definitely can't cross off in a day. But that's okay. So let's get back to the yarn. So I was talking to Pete Johns. You may know Pete Johns. He's got a show coming up after this week. Guess what he does? He plays your music live. See what I did there? That's the name of the show. Amazing. Anyway, so I was having a chat to Pete and hello Tremor Bear about Songtember and how last year Pete Johns did a really complex song called Choices, where he put all these time changes in, and then I was watching along him doing that, knowing I'd be playing drums on that song, and I was like going, would you look at all those time changes? 5/8 into 13/7. I'm just going to have a blast with that, aren't I? Whew, that's going to be so much fun. And it was really difficult. It was just one of the most difficult songs I'd played drums. I'm not a really awesome drummer. I'm just still learning. Like we all are learning our craft. And it was hard. And this year I noticed with Pete Johns' song, it's quite a bit more like relaxed. It's very relaxed. The drums are a bit more relaxed. And normally most years Songtember 2, I'll give myself some ridiculous task of doing, I'm going to do a whole EP. Yeah. And then I get halfway through the month and go, why? Why did I do this? Am I an idiot? Of course I am. Definitely won't do this next year. And then the next year, 10-song EP. I definitely won't do this next year. But this year, for myself, I've actually brought it back. And I noticed Pete had reeled it back too. And I think it's because he's just feeling okay. I think that is the reason. And I think I think from some of the songs I've already mastered for this year, I'm starting to detect a bit of a consensus across music that's a little bit, I'm just doing okay. And it reflects how everybody's feeling, again, which inspired me to do this show today. And it's good to check in with people, yeah, because we don't get to do this enough. I used to host a show here on the channel called the Wart Series. Now, you probably see the little icon in this corner here with the little thumb with the wart on it. You hear me say, we all rise together. During the pandemic, we had a show here. You can go back and watch some of those shows where every week I was talking about a subject about like depression or anxiety, imposter syndrome. And I during those episodes sit here and draw on my iPad in the dark while I would just talk. And then after the show, we'd invite people over to Clubhouse and talk about this stuff. And it was really popular during the pandemic because you know what? Shit was really heavy. It was. People didn't know what was going down. And it turned out to be a really good series. And that's when I started including on this channel, not only talking about music, but about mental health and about if people are okay and well-being and shit like that, because it is important. As musicians, you really want to get this stuff out. You got to have somewhere to fucking explode this shit, get it out, and try and be able to move on and rebound as quick as possible, or you'll end up turning into Perry Farrell. And nobody wants to turn into a whiny, really old alcoholic who dared to punch Dave Navarro in the head and not get his absolute lights clocked. Nobody wants to turn into Perry Farrell. It's the worst thing that could happen to you, especially when your live mic's on the ground and you're throwing a punch and you can hear that delay going from all of his vocals. Why did I go on to Perry Farrell? Gravity definitely increased during the pandemic. Well, pandemic, I don't know about that. That's another thing. Who's Kevin Farrell? it's Perry Farrell's brother. So I think it is a good thing to talk about this stuff and get this stuff out in the open. And again, it's that opposite side of the coin where when you're saying everything's good, hey, nothing can touch me. I'm the Fonz. Hey, you're walking down hitting jukeboxes, everything's good. Then you know just around the corner there's a semi-trailer full of elephants that are going to hit you. But it goes the other way too, doesn't it? It definitely goes the other way when shit's bad. Because if you don't get it out somehow and don't let somebody know, or even, here's the other thing. Now, you may think I'm crazy, but then who cares? You know what I find really helpful as well? And, sue me. I find talking to myself is quite a good pastime. Let us know in the chat if you're a bit partial to talking to yourself. Now, I don't mean explaining the theory of relativity to yourself and then coming back with an argument or something like that. I mean just bleeding out shit. Just having a bleat, just having a complain, having a thing like that. I don't remember when I was young that I used to do that. I find as I'm getting older, I'm talking more to myself. Maybe it was when I had a meth habit that I started this thing that I just talk to myself all the time. It's when you disagree with yourself and end up in a conversation stuck there for hours. The name calling starts. That happens with me sometimes. Pete has joined for the party. Pete Johns, if you don't know, Pete Johns has a mobile party van and he just rolls around the internet, rolling up, going, hi, party people, and he opens his back doors of his van and an instant party with clowns and stuff just jump out and wherever he goes, it's a party. That's a little secret that you now know about Pete Johns that you probably didn't know, because I've met him in real life and me and Pete have drove around in his party van, surprising people with his party antics. Just great quality, this show, isn't it? Michael Song says, I definitely talk to myself, wrote some good songs as an outcome of self-conversation. Yes, 100%. Right? And I'll tell you what I do, these rants, I don't script any of them, but what I do, I see how I put a gap there now. I used to say what I do, and then would go, that's a bit like poo. What I do is the night before is I will sit there and talk through this and just talk this and just act like I'm doing this in front of a camera on my couch while, I don't know, some YouTube show's on. I'm watching YouTube and I'll just sit there going, blah, 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 like I'm doing the rant. And then I'll come up here in the morning and go, lucky I had that little run through yesterday, just, getting all that out. And then I get up here and guess what? I say none of that shit that was brilliant the night before, none of it. I come up here and give you this crap that you're getting right now. It's terrible. But no, I do find it does help. I think it's fun to do that stuff. And I think it's fun to talk to yourself and talk yourself through problems, right? When my girlfriend's here, though, I don't do it because, it's only a fresh relationship and I don't think she's ready for that. I don't think she's ready to find out about the conversations with me and my brain. Brad says, I talk to myself constantly. Well, glad that he's addressed it. I talk to my dogs like they understand English. They don't. Apparently, they speak Spanish because they're chihuahuas. Now, Brad is wonderful. Now, Brad is my very dear friend, and we sit there in Clubhouse, and this will be a regular day on Clubhouse. We'll just be chatting, and then out of the blue, Brad will go, Bobby, get off the road. Bobby, why do you do that? Bobby, come over here, Bobby. No, Bobby, don't do that. That's not good for you. And we sit there and we just go, is anybody going to tell Brad that the dogs don't understand English? And we do. We try to tell him, but the more we tell him, the more he gives the dogs more complex conversations. Like he was asking about, like, anyway, look, I've got off the point, but Brad does talk to himself quite a lot, and sometimes we're there to experience it. Mark says, I talk to myself all the time. Experts' opinion are important to me. Well, hang on. There we go. There you go. You deserve that. And hello, Michael Songs. Pete says, I hope you're all okay. I'm fine. See, look at this. Fine. Okay. This has been the consensus. It really has been the consensus. Do you think we're going to be okay once this election's over? Or it's just going to be more brain dead idiocy? I think it's going to be. We all talk in our heads anyway. Sometimes it's easier out loud. Absolutely. This is the problem. This is how you talk in your head sometimes. It just layers upon layers and layers and becomes all clouds of mush and mashed potato of shit. That's when it gets fucked. That's when people can drive themselves loony. See, I had a partner once who'd say, I don't like that thing with you talking to yourself. I'm like, would you rather me bottle it up and keep it all inside this full-on complicated head, and then one day you end up being, I don't know, in a plastic bag? Probably not a good idea. Am I live on the internet? Did I just say that? Probably not the right thing to say on YouTube, is it? Thank God Pete's not driving around in an unmarked party van. That really wouldn't go down well, especially these days. I got an image of Jade and Pete co-riding around in a van solving mysteries. Well, what do you think, Pete? A great idea for a television show. Christian Taylor says, glad I tuned in. I love nothing more than a Jade rant. It's a bit more polished than the ones I used to. Well, not polished, but a bit more nicer. Fucking Scooby-Doo snacks. All right, so here's an idea. Pete, you up for it? Another thing we can add to our list of things that we do every day. Let's start a mystery team where we drive around solving people's problems on the internet. I think that's a great idea. She'll wonder if you're talking to her or you. Well, you know, she's already insane for being with me. Bobby, why don't you stay in the designated area? That's Brad's dog, if you don't know. One day, Brad's dog's going to answer and go, you know what, Brad? Fuck off. And Brad's going to be like, what? I love when people ask dogs questions like, why do you do that? Yes, same here. I just don't get it. Jamie Melander, what's happening? This is broken down into just nonsense, this show today, but it always does, doesn't it? Brad giving Bobby dissertation, then never mind. Absolutely. We love this stuff. Talking to yourself is rad. I agree with Michael Songs. I've written some banger songs, come up with some really good ideas from talking to myself. The one problem I do fall into, and Brad's heard this, my friends have heard this, sometimes when I get really angry, I start talking out loud and yelling at myself and calling myself stupid and shit and a dumb fuck and I should know better and what a fucking idiot. And I say all this dumb shit. And that's just old me, some old habits I used to have that come through that I still haven't fully fixed because I'm not perfect. And these were problems, I guess, from growing up and having people tell you that you suck all the time, that this stuff rubs off onto you and you start to not realize that you've grown up and now you're bullying yourself when things go wrong. God, you're shit. Why can't you do things? And you don't realize you pick up on these things from being around toxic people that do that to you. And sometimes you fall back into it. But the thing is, if it's happening and you can say, fuck, why am I doing that? And saying that out loud and going, shit, that's really stupid. Eventually you're going to stop, or you may not because, I give the cat a talking to Then he goes back to licking his balls. Speaking of cats, remember, folks, this week we're going to be working on a new song this week. And I'm going to ask you to send me, I'll put a community post up with a link for you to send me sounds of your cats and dogs. And I'm doing a death metal song, and I want to use the sounds of your cats and dogs' barks and meows to do the vocals, because I think it's time we fight back against this issue, this fake issue of Haitians eating animals, and I want to do this for the fake animals that are being eaten by the fake Haitians that aren't real, and all the money will go nowhere. So, all right. So I will put a post up about this. So thanks for reminding me, Hugh, with your comment about your cat's balls. And here's some good news. Brad Example has finished a Songtember song. He hasn't finished a song in 2 years, and he's finished his first song in Logic. How cool is that? How cool is that? See, I think it's all that talking to his dogs that has helped. I think it's wicked. I'm so happy that Brad's going to get something done. And you know what? Brad's missed out for the last couple of years on Songtember and not done a song. And you know what? It happens. So I want you to know that. And I don't want you to beat yourself up for Songtember if you don't get anything done. You know, go easy on yourself, because look, ultimately what we're talking about here today is it's just a song. All right? It really is just a song. And you're going to write plenty of them throughout the rest of your life, honestly. And they're going to get better as you go on. Some of them might stink. It happens. But you are going to write more songs. So if you don't get to write a song in this allotted time period of 4 weeks, maybe a little bit more if you're lucky, it's okay. Because the more important thing is that you're okay. At least okay. So you can go on to make more songs in the future. There's nothing worse than somebody who pushes something out to fit into this thing that's going on at their own detriment of their own mental health or their own issues, and then we don't have them around. That's not good, right? So I'm trying to be very careful with the way I say things, because, you know, YouTube and you can't say things like, you know, cherries, apples, vagina. Oh, but you know what I mean. You got to be careful with what you say here on YouTube. So I'm trying to say, fucking, be careful. Don't put yourself in a situation where you're going to create more pressure to your own life and unnecessary stuff just to get a song out, to be kick back and enjoy other people's process if that's a thing too that will help, and just cheer people on instead, because I promise you will write so many more songs, you know, next week, 2 weeks later, a year later, it doesn't matter when, but you will write plenty of songs. Pete says, at this rate I might struggle to finish. What a load of nonsense. You are doing fine, Pete. You're way ahead. But the Chandler Brothers finished their song in the first week. Can you believe that? I've already mastered it. It's ridiculous. Mark, a question from Audible Video. Does me making cats and dogs noises work? No. You can't do that. You're a fraud if you do that. God, we have to have real cats and real dogs. So the idea is, in the chorus, I'm going to put the cat sounds. And you go, with lots of echoes and stuff and distortion on the vocals. And in the verses, I'm going to use the dog barks and chop them all up, an individual bark for each. So, and you know, just imagine death metal. That's the stupid idea that's in my head. I know, it's ridiculous. I just want to finish some of these songs that I have parts for. I really like them, and I want to turn them into decent songs. Exactly. Brad wants to do that. And you know what the thing was? Brad's been sitting there for fucking months watching me and Pete do demos for Logic instead and then I'd finish a demo and get off the internet and go, Brad, stop watching demos and just do it. And see, as soon as he started doing it, he got it done. Sometimes watching crap like this crap right here, is not good for you. Go and do something else, really. I'm not going to be angry at you if you don't watch this. I wouldn't watch this. Trust me. I wouldn't watch this at all. It's boring. What else? I'm just going through comments. I can't play your Brad song because it's getting mixed and it needs some guitar added to it. I think what needs should be sampled and turned into another song. Jade doing dogs. And that sounds like a porno film right there. Stop watching YouTube in 2 hours' time immediately after YML. Yeah, absolutely. Follow Pete's advice or he'll turn up at your house in a party van. And you don't want that because I hate clowns. Clowns suck. Does anybody else fear clowns? Where are we? What am I talking about? All right, let's get serious. We've got, 8 minutes? 8 minutes to go. 7 minutes to go. Here's the deal. I just wanted to come and ask you all this today because it's important to check in every now and again. And I have a responsibility to do that. I have a responsibility as a content creator, not just to sit here and just go, watch this stuff. I want to ask how you're going, and I don't have the opportunity to send an email out to everybody and ask how you're going. So this is my chance to see if you are okay and to share a little bit of how I am dealing with stuff and how I work my head around things, how I talk about myself and I'm a dickhead. And let you know it's all right to be a dickhead. You know, it's not so bad in this world of dickheadedness. You know, I feel like a bit of an outcast, but I'd rather be a dickhead than a complete and utter. So that's the point of today. I don't have any answers how to get out of things, how to rewrite, but talking, having a good selection of friends, going and doing something else, not music. Go enjoy the birds, even if they do mock you sometimes if you stay out there too long. I'm not doing well, am I? But definitely don't go and watch YouTube politics. Don't go and watch Donald Trump videos. Oh, God. Don't go and watch anything to do with the manosphere, red pills, incels. Don't go watch any of that shit. It's nonsense. It's just rubbish. Don't fall into conspiracy holes because they just want your money. They're just a grift. Go and do something for yourself. Smile, go outside, do what Hippie does. It's not creepy at all. Just go outside into a highly densely populated area and just randomly smile at people. Like that. That's exactly how I do it. Just walk and smile at them. Trust me. And every now and again ask how they are as you're doing the smiling thing. Hello? Like that. It's natural, yes. Wave as well. Hello? Like that. Wave. Sometimes curtsy. You know what? Or just make a dickhead of yourself and do something foolish. Go and throw yourself into a creek. Something, slip on a rock, but don't hurt your head or anything like that. I don't know, just something funny. Yelling and screaming. Yeah, that's another thing. Stand on a corner in the middle of your local town and just yell stuff. Just yell. What about anything? Just yell. You know, it works great for... It works great for religious people and they don't look mad at all, do they? They come across as completely balanced and utterly normal. What has this show turned into? Whatever. What Jade suggested is actually in a book called I Did a New Thing. Yes, it is. Or just, you know, there's a YouTube channel I watch by an Australian guy called I Did a Thing. And if you're not subscribed to it, you should, because the dude's really, really funny, and he just, every episode, he does a thing, and he does it really poorly most of the time. Sometimes he gets good results, but most of the time it's bad, and sometimes it's really dangerous, and the police turn up at his house for what he's done. But I love it because it's just, I did a thing, and I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm doing it. And it brings me joy to do this thing that I've never done before. That's all I got, really. Frank says, I haven't been okay since I was 10, but at least it gives me enough content to write about for a lifetime. Well, there you go. Absolutely. I agree with that, Frank. I feel your pleasure. To summarize, dress up like a bird, say hello, make dog and cat noises after you wake up at 4 p.m. Absolutely. Just do it. Just have some fun. And, it's okay to be okay, but it'll get better. It always does get better, And I'll tell you one last story before I go. We've got 3 minutes. When I first came on the internet and being trans, right, I didn't know what I was. I had no idea. All I knew was I think I like wearing these clothes, and I'm very confused about it. And the only reference or knowledge that there was at the time back then were like encyclopedias and dictionaries and stuff, right? And when you'd open up these things and read what a trans person was, it would say mental illness, fetish, and just all these really horrible words that made you feel guilty and shit. But when I first got on the internet, the first website I found was a website called You Are Not Alone. And, and John Waters movies. Exactly, Brad. And I didn't really want to particularly put poo in my mouth. Anyway, but I found this website, the first website I ever found, called You Are Not Alone. And I don't know if it still exists, and it was all these trans people all over the world just going, here I am. And instantly, in a second, I was like, holy fuck. All these years, like 20, 25 years or whatever, I have no idea, never met another person like me. But that website has stuck with me because you're not alone, right? Even though in your head we are alone with our thoughts and stuff. But we can choose to be alone, and that's okay too. But we're not alone. We're all sharing the same shit. We're all going through the same crap, And it does get better. It does. And it does get worse. What are you going to do? People, feelings. Anyway, I hope anybody feels better from this, or at least less bad or slightly more okay, whatever words you choose. I should leave. And we got some music to make this week on the channel. We're going to interview at the end of the week with somebody very, very fascinating and fun. And I got some demos on the channel as well. Pete Johns is up next. He's going to be playing your music. And I look forward to hearing what you create on Songtember or don't create. All right. Do what makes you happy. Mistakes make you better. We'll all rise together. Whatever you do, stay awake. Thanks for hanging out. Let's ouch. Bye-bye.